Hello there, Rays. KJ here. We are at the old penitentiary down in Boise. This used to be a prison for men and women, and it was where they housed serial killers of the like, murderers, whatever it was. We're going to be looking through here at Wayne. Do you want to come around here? I want to let y'all know that this right here is a letter from a woman. Early in the gray dawn on a dreary September day in 1915, I arrived with a companion in Boise, the beautiful capital of Idaho. My thoughts were quite different from those of most of the people who land for the first time in the charming city of Boise, for I was in irons. My companion was a heavily armed guard who watched my every move. In the distance, I saw the frowning walls of the Idaho State Penitentiary, and within those walls, I was to be confined for the rest of my natural life. My eyes searched the premises surrounding the prison for the convict cemetery, where I myself would finally go when the sentence of the law expired. But as I failed to see any tombstones that represented a graveyard, I dismissed the subject from my mind and took a deep breath, as one who feels himself shrinking under dark waters, wishing to inhale all of God's freedom air that was possible. The vehicle stopped before the prison office. The guard rang a bell to summon the turning of the early morning watch to open the door from within. The door swung open. No word was spoken. We stepped inside. The door closed behind us. A great key was turned in the lock, and iron bars and stone walls shut me forever in. The spot where men love not, the land of fear and dread, of prayers unheard and hope deferred, the tombs of the living dead. And so it is, y'all, that as we take this tour of the penitentiary, we'll do these in maybe part 1 and part 2. I'm going to let y'all see, this is an old building. It's not in use anymore. But just across the way, they have another correctional facility over here in Boise. So I'm going to take y'all on a quick tour of this little section. This penitentiary visitation room, all right, it was built by the inmates. At one point they didn't have, this was where they would meet. There would be a wall between them. But as time went on in the 1960s, they changed it. They changed this. You see the little child there for a visit? Into tables and chairs for a more restrictive area. Now, I want to bring y'all's attention to this lady here, and y'all surely understand why I'm here. We're talking about Lori Daybell is going to be in prison for the rest of her life. She won't be in this old penitentiary, but some of y'all say she'll be in Pocatello Women's Prison. Lydia Southard, inmate number 3052. Lydia Southard is one of the first known female serial killers in the United States. Convicted of killing just one husband, at least 4 of her husbands, her small daughter and her brother-in-law, all died under similar circumstances. She urged her husbands to take out life insurance and then poisoned them. In one instance, she extracted arsenic from flypaper and baked it into a pie. The press dubbed her the Lady Bluebeard. She later escaped with the aid of a former inmate, dumped him, and married another man. A year after her 1941 release, the state granted her a full pardon. And so it is, y'all, that here in Idaho, there is one woman, Robin Rose, sitting on death row right now, not here, but I just want to give y'all a flavor. I want y'all all to see this. You shall hang by the neck until you are dead, 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 are the dying echoes that hover around me. As I stand in the shadow of the grim instrument of death, it was in the early part of the present century in the northeast corner of the prison yard. in the shadow of the cold gray stone of the prison walls, the first gallows in this prison was erected, on which 6 men have dropped through the trap door into eternity. In 1918, the gallows was torn down, and on the same spot, a small building was erected to be used as a shoe shop. In 1921, the shoe shop was removed, and in its place, a machine shop was installed, of which the writer was placed in charge. In November 1924, a new gallows was built just beside the machine shop. So folks, y'all know this is 2023. We should know sometime this year which prison Lori and Chad will go to. You see that this building here that we're walking in was built by the inmates and saved the state of Idaho $800,000 at the time. You can almost feel the activity in here at one time. I can assure y'all, these lights on the ceiling were not here at this time. This was a cold, sallow place, but at the same time, just the only tiny little bit of hope for these inmates who would spend the rest of their lives in here was when they had visitation. And visitation, as illustrated on the walls, was 1 day a month from 9 in the morning to 11. 1 day a month, a family member would come to visit. I'm assuming Janice, Summer will come to visit Lori, and maybe Chad's children and parents, you know. So I'm going to end this vid and get to, this is just the visiting center, and we'll get back together shortly as we go through the old penitentiary, keeping in mind life in prison or death row is where Chad and Lori are going. Keep on looking.